Hi guys, it's Dara. I'm here today to show you how to apply your Jamberry nail wraps. There are many different methods that you can use. I'm going to use the traditional method with one little addition that I do. But I want you to remember that if you're having problems, there are lots of tips and techniques that I can help you with to make you successful at your application. So please let me know. So, first thing I always do is I shape my nails. I've already actually done that today, so get them all nice shaped up. And then I wash my hands. Washing your hands is very important before you start because you want to make sure to get all the oil off of your fingernails, especially if you've just removed them with oil or cuticle oil. So what I do is I wash my hands, use Dawn soap, and I use some sort of little brush to scrub my nails. You can use, this is just a cuticle brush, an old toothbrush, anything. So washing my nails really good, scrubbing them off. I've actually already done that. So once I have that done, I need to make sure that I have all of my supplies. So here are the things that you need to make sure that you have to apply your nail wraps. You need to have something to wipe your nails and cuticles off with. Right here I have an alcohol prep swab. You can use that. You can use just alcohol and a cotton ball. You can actually use vinegar. All of those cut the oil, and that's what we just want to make sure that all the oil is gone. You need a cuticle pusher to be able to push back your cuticles and to apply pressure with your wraps. You need a fingernail file, and make sure it's one that's not too flimsy. That'll help you with filing. And then you also need cuticle scissors, or you can use fingernail clippers. Just want to let you know, Jamberry does have an application kit that has all these items that you can purchase to help you with application. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I've washed my hands, remember, really good, is I'm going to take my cuticle pusher and I'm going to push my cuticles back. And I want to do that because I want to be able to have the most area to be able to apply my wrap to help with growth. So the farther back you get, the longer that they will last. So just pushing them back, making sure they're nice and pretty. Okay, now that I'm done with that, what I want to do is I'm going to take my alcohol wipe or whatever you're going to use, and I am going to not only wipe my nails, I am going to wipe my cuticle area. So you want to wipe that down really good to make sure there's no oil on there. Because those wraps don't like that oil and they won't stick as well and you won't get as long application out of them. So now that I have cut my wraps, now that I have wiped my nails, I'm ready to apply. Now I usually take and cut my sheet of wraps in half. I like to use, it's better, easier for me to handle. I know that my nails fit the first 5 reps. When you first start applying these, you kind of have to figure out what fits, and I just suggest you kind of lay the wrap over, figure out what fits. One suggestion is that you err on the side of small. You do not want a wrap to be too big because if it touches your side of your nail, you're not going to get a good application. Water can get underneath there and your wrap will not last as long. So if you're thinking a wrap is too big, I would go down a size and try a smaller size. And it's kind of just a process of elimination as you're first starting to apply these. So I know the first 5 fit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel my wrap off. Sometimes I use my fingers, sometimes I use tweezers. The most important thing is that you don't want to touch the back of the wrap, or as little as possible, because you have oil on your fingers. So I'm going to pull this back and I'm going to cut it off. And I usually I know I'm going to have to touch it. I touch it at the end that is cut because I know that's what I'm going to be filing off. So sometimes people ask me, the side that's curved is the side that goes to your cuticle. So I have my handy dandy heater here. You can actually use a hair dryer. You just need some sort of source of heat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat my wrap for 3 to 5 seconds and then place it on my fingernail. And actually when you're heating it, you'll see that it curls just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it on my fingernail. If it doesn't, you don't get it in the right spot to start with, you can pull it up, but you don't want to do too much of that. I'm going to use my cuticle pusher and I'm just going to push the wrap down. I like to start at the cuticle and push up and all the way down. I like to kind of move the side of my skin, make sure I get a good seal on the side of my nails. So I've heated once. I'm going to heat again. I always tell my customers, if you can't remember how many times you heated, it can't hurt to heat and push again. So I've heated again. I'm going to push again. So these are just heat and pressure activated, so I don't think you can give too much heat or too much pressure. So what I do is at this point, leave that nail alone. I go ahead and do the rest of my nails. So I'm going to do one more nail, and then I will show you kind of the end step. So once again, I'm going to pull it back, cut it off, try to touch it as little as possible. Oops, whole thing fell off. I'm going to touch it at the part that I cut. I'm going to heat it for 3 to 5 seconds. It kind of curls a little bit, and then I'm going to place it on my nail. Use my cuticle pusher and push it down. If you get a wrinkle, sometimes you can just kind of pull, push it out, reheat it, push it out. So I'm going to heat it another time. And once again, push down. So now what I do is I usually do this whole hand, and then I go to the next step, because you kind of want to let your wraps cool a little bit to get the best set. Just for this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you what the next step is. So I would have done my whole hand and then come back to this next step. So I have a lot of wrap on there, and I don't want to have to be filing that all off. So what I do is I take my cuticle scissors, or you can take fingernail clippers, and I trim my wrap as close to my nail as I can get. So I'm going to trim my wrap as close to the nail as I can get. So now I just have a little bit left, and then I'm going to take my file. Now this is the most important thing. With Jamberry nail wraps, you only want to file at a downward motion. You never want to go up, or you never want to go sideways, because that will break the seal. So I'm going to go downward, and then I also want to go at a 90, I want to make sure to go at a 90-degree angle, because if I do anything else, I'm going to actually take a little bit of my tip off the edge, and I don't want to do that. So I am just going to file down, and what happens is, I don't know if you can see, but this little tiny piece, that's the excess that I didn't get cut off. It starts coming off, and you don't ever want to tug that off. Mine actually fell off pretty good. I have a brand new file. If it gets stuck in the corner, sometimes I'll take a pair of cuticle clippers and kind of clip it off. But you only want to file down, get that little piece off till it feels nice and smooth. So again, 90-degree angle, getting that little piece to come off. There's that little piece right there. And this one's going to be a booger in the corner, so I'm just going to take my, and you can keep filing, I just like to take my scissors and be done with it. And there we go. So that is it for applying our Jamberry nail wraps. Couple things. I usually take a baggie, and just to make sure I have a really good seal, I wrap my finger in the baggie just real tight, and I heat it just till it kind of hurts. You know, it's hot. This is just going to even out the heat and the pressure, and then I kind of just hold on to it till it cools off. And that's kind of my last step. That just gets me one really good last heat. So I just kind of wrap it around, pull it real tight, heat it, and then let it cool off before I unpeel it. So that's the last step that I do. That's not in the traditional method, but that's something that I do. Something that's really good for your nails is make sure every couple days you put some cuticle oil on your cuticles, rub it in. I don't usually do it the first 24 hours that I have my wraps on because I want to get a good set. I also make sure that I'm not going to be putting my hands in a lot of water when I do my wraps for the next 10 to 12 hours. So I usually do them before bed, so I know I'm not going to be taking a shower or doing dishes or anything like that. So that's just some techniques to use. Remember, there's lots of different methods. Not everything works for everybody. So if you do have some issues, let me know. I can give you lots of information on what can work. If you have any questions, you can email me at dkas darraicky@gmail.com. Or if you would like to browse and shop, you can go to my Jamberry website at darrah.jamberrynails.net. Thanks!